Roll call. Here. Here. Any conflicts to report? Item 4, approval of minutes of the meeting of December 4th, December 11th, and December 18th.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item A, supplemental agreement number 4 received from Beam, Longstreth, and Neff LLC for the pedestrian bridge project.
This is supplemental number 4. It adjusts several items in the project. There were 3 bridge designs and one was converted into a tunnel design. And the actual bottom line cost to the city is an increase of $8,600. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the supplemental.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item B, correspondence received from AT&T requesting permission to perform work at 171st Street and Alabama Avenue.
This is some underground work. They're putting an interduct in, so it looks like they're gonna be, working only at a corner. So there's, at a corner of an alley, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve AT&T digging request.
Motion second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. Item C, correspondence received from Chief of Police John Doty requesting approval of the termination of a probationary officer due to not meeting academy training qualification requirements.
Make a motion that we approve the police report.
Motion,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item D, correspondence received from Fire Chief Jeffrey Smith designating purchasing agent for the Hammond Fire Department.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchasing agent.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item E, hearing on property located at 228 Conkey Street.
This was a 3-unit that is being converted back to a single-family home. So spoke with the lawyers, and the owner of the property's already got permits to convert it back to a single-family home. So asked for a continuance to March 12th.
Motion,
See that?
in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item F, hearing on property located at 6609 Jefferson Avenue.
Now, Mr. President, on this property, there was a HUD complaint that was filed, and the city has answered. HUD has not made a resolution. I would just ask that you set this over until they make a resolution on that issue. And I have provided the board with both a copy of the complaint and the answer.
You are providing that to the board?
Yeah, yeah. You got a copy, didn't you?
I got a copy.
Okay.
How far would you like to go?
I don't know. I mean,
When they come back to us and say it's,
well, see, because if we do that, then it's going to fall off the calendar. So I would say maybe let's go into sometime in April.
how about April 2nd?
April.
First Thursday, we should not be on the
Oh, only if there's liquor board. Can we do the second Thursday?
April 9th.
Thank you.
Is that a motion?
My motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Ayes have it. Item G, demolition status hearing on properties located at 7404 Beach Avenue.
Good morning, Mr. President and the board. This is the first of several matters. 7404 Beach. We're ready to proceed. Actually, the city's position is that no progress has been made since the last time we were in front of you.
I paid for the water and everything else, and
Hold on one second,
Okay.
and we can. And the city's position is to proceed with demolition. So if you could just identify yourself, state your address, and give the board an update.
my name is Jared Rodriguez. The address is 7404 Beach, Hammond, Indiana. I obtained the problem. I was
Actually live there?
no the house. I don't live in the house.
You said the address, that your address was 7404.
70. Yes, that's the address on the house for the demolition order.
Where you live?
I live in Calumet City, Illinois.
So this is like something, are you planning on renting this house out after you fix it
I
up?
plan on having my aunt, she's elderly, have her live there after everything is done.
Okay, the last time we were here, so the board remembers this, the last time we were here, Mr. Rodriguez mentioned, and we let him know that he had to get an inspection
I got
and
the
enter the
inspection.
agreement before the next hearing.
And the property bond and everything else. That was the
Okay,
problem I had.
have you got an inspection with the city?
Yes, I did.
We don't have a record of that. Mr. Cook?
No, I don't recall any inspections of that property.
Yes, I got the
You have a
inspection. I
receipt?
paid. No, I don't, but I paid for it downstairs, and I know.
When
for a
did you
fact
pay
I
for
did.
it? I mean, was it like in the last week? Was it in the last month?
Maybe within, I know for a fact I paid for it, but I can go downstairs and get the stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you no lie about nothing like that. As I had to go downstairs and pay, I had 2 board up fees also I had to pay before I could even get to pay for the inspection. And
You know what, let's, if we could, Mr. President, set it over to January 29th, which is a bid opening date, and allow us to find out whether or not Mr. Rodriguez did in fact pay for the inspection. He can then gather his information, show back up here on the 29th.
okay.
It'll be an agenda item on its own with any other status demos, and we'll do it then if that would be all right with the board. Thank you.
7974 Birch.
Thanks.
Mr. Montano and Attorney Karen Begner were here last time when this was up for status. Are they here today on 7974 Birch? There's been no progress since that status. We would ask that the board enter the order to demolish, but actually, I believe that it was entered, right, Chris? Yes. It was entered, so we're just going to proceed with demolition. It's just a status. It'll be bid out.
You want action on that?
No.
1903 Clay.
1903 Clay, permits have been issued. We're waiting on an inspection. We'd like to continue this to April 16th. Same owner of 1909 Clay. April 16th on both of those.
1903 Clay.
On both of these,
1909 Clay.
it'll be the final continuance on both these properties.
410 Conkey.
Mr. President, I'm happy to report that this property is awaiting final inspection. It's been totally rehabbed, and it will be, we would request it be removed from the demolition list.
503 Conkey.
503 Conkey. There's no one present here today. We would request the board enter the order. We would stay at how we'd request to stay till April 16th, however. There has been good service on the owners and those with a substantial property interest. So we request the order be entered and affirmed.
Need action on it? Need action on
Yes.
We need the board to approve an order to demolish.
it? Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. 247 Doty Street.
This is 80% complete. We would ask that it be continued to April 16th. The rehab is moving forward.
Okay. 6327 Forest Avenue.
On this property, even though that we've had a demolition order entered for some time, progress is a little bit slower than we had hoped. We're going to send another letter to Mr. Egebrecht. If he's not here today, I don't see him. And a final continuance for April 16th, 2015. If he's not making substantial progress, we're going to go ahead and bid this out. So April 16th will be the new date.
6320 Harrison.
6320 Harrison is owned by Ms. Kuo. I don't see her here today. And the agreement to rehabilitate is expired. We would ask that this be continued one last time for April 16th.
6132 Harrison.
We've been in contact with Mr. Novak and Mr. Schleier, and good morning. And I believe that work's going to begin, and it's going to be continued to April 16th. Is that correct, Mr. Novak?
April 16th is fine. My thought is maybe we come back before the April 1st deadline in case we need additional time. Okay, April 16th. And that would be the same, would that be the same for
For the Mad- for the-
6737 Madison as
That's
well?
correct. Mr. Novak also represents the owner on that address, 530.
537?
Madison, yes.
Mhm. Thank you.
4729 Hickory.
4729 Hickory, Attorney Rupsich is here. He represents the estate. It's my understanding there's been a sale that is imminent, and I'm sure he has something to report. There has been an inspection done.
Sure. I'm one of the co-personal representatives of the estate. We had sold the property. We closed our half, the estate's half. One of the buyers here, they want to come forward too?
Yeah, we need,
If we all come up, maybe? They still have to close their half. There was an issue with not having a valid license, so they couldn't close their end. It's open right now. It was sold subject to the demolition lien with the city. They've got a copy of the report. I just found out the issue this morning is, the one issue was the bond. I know Attorney Smith said he could probably work with them on that. But as far as the corrections that need to be made to the property, if they're going to live there, can they do that on their own, or do they need licensed contractors? I'm not sure they can hire licensed contractors. Their agents in the back as well, Mr. Sanchez, real estate agent, they were under the impression that they could correct things on their own and not hire contractors if they live there. We need an interpreter as well. She's here. She works for the city of Hammond, I've been told, and she was going to interpret today.
Okay, could we get the names of the new owners, please?
My name is Maria Serrano.
Okay, how do you, is that S-E-R-R?
S-E-R-R-A-N-O.
And you're the buyer?
Leonardo.
She's an interpreter.
Okay, you're the interpreter. Ms. Serrano, what's the name of the owner of the or the purchaser of the property?
Leonardo. Salazar.
Salazar? Okay. And what about an address for him, current address?
1036 South Avenue O, Chicago, Illinois. 60617.
Okay, 11036 South Avenue O. Okay, and so, Mr. President, the way that kind of this is working is that we do have an inspection that's been completed. The estate paid for that through Mr. Rupsich. There's a closing that has kind of been left open pending resolution of this issue, or no?
I think they're, just to be candid with the board here, they're getting cold feet about closing their end now, I think. I found out this morning. Part of the issues they're getting cold feet is, I think the bond we can work through, it's the repairs that need to be made. There's significant repairs that need to be made. They had to come up with about $13,000 cash to buy the house. They've done that. They don't have another 10 for the bond. I think we can work through that, but hiring licensed contractors, I don't know if they have those funds. I don't want to set them up for demolition on the back end, but I couldn't have been any clearer in how the property was listed. It was up front on the MLS. I know Mr. Sanchez, their agent, was working with them. I guess the ultimate question is, as far as whether or not they want to go forward with this, can they make the repairs on their own if they're going to live there?
I think the issue is that, I don't know if you can make repairs on your own unless you are living there. I mean, it's not like if you're going to live there, right, Jim?
That's usually up to Mr. Cook. He'll make that decision based on whatever they tell him, you know, they're gonna do to the house and whether they're gonna occupy it or not.
I know Mr. Cook's present here. Maybe he could shed some light on this issue.
We should do everything we can to help the owner of owner-occupied property. If they sign an affidavit stating that they are going to live there, it's a sworn affidavit, we will issue homeowner permits for them to do so. Now, every once in a while, they should know if these people sign that, it's not true, they're lying to us. And when that comes out, they do file in city court ordinance violations. As long as they're honest with us, we will bend over backwards to ask them. The house is pretty bad.
I have a question. It says here that the single-story frame house with a bad roof, gutters, hole in the roof, running water in the bathroom. Are you gonna live there with a hole in the roof?
That's been corrected. Before they made the offer, I had a licensed plumber go out there. He winterized it, blew all the pipes out. He patched the roof, just put some sheeting up there and caulked it, so there's no moisture or water infiltration. I mean, it does need to be, shingles need to be torn off, needs to be resheeted, whole new roof. They know that. But it is, he did do some repairs, so there wasn't any more snow, rain, things of that nature coming in. But it does need significant work, and
Is there power to the building?
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
believe so.
I mean, how can you live there if there's no power, especially now?
Well, I guess they would have
We
to.
will live there until we reissue the occupancy permit. I mean,
Our biggest concern, Mr. President, is that, and the board, is that we kind of are in this in-between thing here, stage, where we don't know whether or not Mr. Salazar is going to actually buy it and begin the repairs at the same time. It's an eyesore on the neighborhood. It obviously is in some bad shape, and we'd like to knock it down if we can. We're willing to work with them, but we need some sort of commitment from Mr. Salazar one way or another on what he's going to do, because that's going to drive, I think, both the estate's position and the city's position.
And I had another offer. I had a buyer who I think could move quicker, had more funds, wanted to flip it. We took this offer because it was a better offer. That was a standing offer from the other buyer. I need to know what direction I can go in. You know, I'm sure I could sell it and get it in good repair. I think they were really excited about making this their home. If we can work with them, I'd like to.
So, do we just need a stat in there?
I guess, I don't need to go out on the paper, though. Yeah, that's probably what we'll do, because then at least we can get some bids on it. So, I mean,
Hold on one second, Kevin.
yes.
Yes, ma'am?
Yes. First, he doesn't know the house, it was in a demolition list after he used the earnest money. So now he found out, he came to me to, read the papers, and we came yesterday after with the inspector, and then they say he has to fix all the stuff to put the house out of the demolition list. So now it's more money than he was expecting. So he definitely came.
Listed that way. Mr.
My question is, did he buy the house, did he see the house before he bought it?
Yeah.
I mean, he had to know what kind of work had to be done.
He walked
Yeah, but
through.
he told he can do it by himself, but now the inspector say, no, you have to hire a company to do the job, and he had no money to hire that.
The way it was listed subject to condemnation with the city, and it was specifically said it needed to be put in compliance. If they want out, I'm fine with that. I need to know which direction to go so I can keep the estate productive. I don't think it's so much of it being on the demolition list. I think it's just a matter of, do we have to hire contractors, or can they do the work on their own? If we can work through that, can you ask him if he would like the house, if he can do the repairs on his
Quiere la
own?
casa y hacer su reparación. ¿Es solo o?
Yo lo puedo hacer, pero sí, no tengo que pagar.
Okay, he said he can repair by his own, but he
He do
has,
the work himself?
yeah, but he can afford the 10,000 pounds.
Well, that's, Kevin?
I mean, the bond requirement is something that we tend to, if need be, we can work with people. It could be through a surety, it could be, it's not like they have to take 10 grand necessarily, all the time and put it up, but at the same time, the city's concern is always that you end up taking something on that you aren't going to be able to finish. And then what happens is that it's so slow moving that we see no progress, and that the eyesore continues from the neighborhood, and we continue to get calls, and then we come back in here every 60 days or 3 months, and there's nothing going on. If Mr. Salazar is serious about it, then he needs to close on the house, so Mr. Rupsich then can get it out of the estate. If he's not serious about it, then Mr. Rupsich needs to move forward and do what's best for the estate. But unfortunately, it seems like the city is caught in the middle of this as well, and I understand it's because there's a demolition sitting out there, but we need some movement, and I'm sure Mr. Rupsich would like some movement as well.
Does he have enough working capital? Because even if you do the work yourself, you gotta buy shingles, you gotta buy sheeting, siding, maybe windows. It's still an expensive proposition.
Dice que está muy caro lo que tienen que comprar. Ustedes dirán si lo tienen, puede hacer o no. Claro, porque con ventanas, siding. Tienen que decir ahorita si pueden y hacer un acuerdo con ellos.
No, es muy caro, no puedo hacer.
Right.
Yo lo quiero reparar para hacer más caro.
He can afford it, he has no money, extra money.
He can't afford it?
He cannot.
He had a real estate agent that worked with him on this deal. Could you ask him, does he, knowing what he knows, does he want the house? And just, does he want the home? Does he want to buy the home?
Well, he wanted it, but he can't afford it those many expenses.
If he buys the home, but he can't afford to fix it up, then we're.
Well, we're gonna knock it down.
Yeah, then we're setting him up for demolition on the back end. I don't want to do that to him or his family. I mean, I need to look for the other buyer at this point, I think.
Yeah, because he say, I can't.
Don't forget.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he need more time. I don't know how long.
he had.
The city's position today, regardless of if it's the state or Mr. Salazar, is that we'd like the board to enter the order based on the information that we presented to the board previously, and unless there's any counter information that either Mr. Rupsich or Mr. Salazar would like to present, other than what's already been presented, based on the condition of the home and all the parties present, we'd ask the board to affirm the order of demolition. We'll stay it till April. That'll give us time to bid it out anyway, and then at least we can keep the process moving, which is the most important thing for the city at this point.
And you can terminate the contract with Mr. Salazar.
I will.
And seek
Need
your,
be.
your
I will.
other buyer.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we affirm the demolition, but stay until April 16th, and you guys work your stuff out.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Motion
John.
second,
All right,
all
yep.
those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. 1108 Highland.
1108 Highland, the electric work has been started. We ask for an April 16th status.
1130 Highland.
Progress is slow, however, it's moving forward. The roof has been completed. We're going to let the owner know that the rehab agreement is expiring, and we would ask for April 16th status date.
4505 10 Holman Avenue.
The typo in this on the agenda, it should be 4504-10 Homan. This is the grocery store on Gosselin and Homan. Mr. Munich has just finished some medical procedures, and we've agreed that this would be continued to January 29th, 2015.
Very good. 6324 Kennedy.
There's been no progress on this property. It doesn't even have a roof on it. I don't believe anyone's present here today. This will be moved. I just wanted to update the board that this will be bid out, and it will be moving forward on a demolition.
Okay. 1019 May Street.
1019 May, we would ask that the order to, I'm sorry, there's someone here present today, but the city's position is that the inspection, although it was paid for and done, there's been only minor repairs to date, so I guess we're waiting for an update from the owner, but the city's position is that we'd like to enter the order today to demolish.
I did all the siding to the roof. I have the before and after pictures. That's before. New doors. I have the contract for the windows here. They're installing all the windows. They came out yesterday to measure them. They're gonna have them within 3 to 4 weeks, all the windows for the house. And I know I'm doing it kind of slow, but I'm doing all the work myself, you know. But,
Okay, could you just give us your name again, sir? Mr.
the
Magallanes?
house, Mr. Cook has a copy of the report. It's my aunt's. She sold it to me. She let me borrow the money. My name is Juan Carlos Magallanes. Her name is Ermira Huerta. And I'm planning
Yeah,
to
we
live
had
on
Ms.
the house.
Huerta's information
Yeah.
before.
I'm
Okay.
planning to live on the house there. I'm just fixing up slowly, you know. Work is slow right now, but like I see, this is a lot of money. I'm trying to just finish it, you know.
What's your address?
4717 Torrance Avenue.
Mr. President, given that Mr. Magallanes gave us an update that we didn't have any knowledge of, and we appreciate, I think we would ask that this be set over for status for April. And at that point, it seems that there probably may even be time for a final inspection because he's pretty close.
I still have to do the interior. I have to do the wiring, some of the floors, and the upstairs is almost done. The bottom needs all just siding. I mean the drywall. But I mean, I know the date was till March. I don't know if I can give him a little more time since I'm doing this by myself. Like everything's getting done.
I think they just said April.
Okay, but I mean, if it's not done by that, I don't want to get it knocked down.
It'll be status.
It'll be a status hearing
Oh,
for
okay.
April 16th, Kevin?
Yes, April 16th.
If you want to see the picture, this is a major difference, you know. And you pass by, you wouldn't be able to tell it's not treated inside, you know. I know it needs the windows, but they're going to be installed within the first week of February.
This picture do you justice.
Oh, I'm the status, the April status.
Okay.
Hey, sir.
Thank you, sir.
See you in April.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Keep going.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving on, 6317 Monroe.
This is another property owned by Allison Kuo. Mr. Golding was notified, I believe, and so is Ms. Kuo. I don't believe she's here today. Again, this is just, the order's already been entered, and the demo will proceed. I believe this is on the bid list for late January.
6239 Monroe.
This is a property owned by Mr. Ruben Hernandez. We do have a agreement to rehabilitate. Mr. Hernandez is here today?
Yes.
All right. And he has paid for an inspection. We'd ask for the April 16th date. All right. April 16th. Do you have anything you want to tell the board, or do you have anything you want to report to the board on the property?
No, I just waiting for the
Inspection. Okay. Yep. April 16th. Thank you,
I
sir.
need to be here another day. Another day.
April 16th.
Okay, you're right.
Sure. Okay.
914 Merrill.
Yes, this was, an agreement to rehabilitate was just mailed on January 7th, and I believe they're waiting for it to be returned, or it was? We haven't gotten it back yet, so we'd ask for an April 16th status date.
Very good. 1116 Moss.
An inspection was paid for on this property by Miss Wendy Wang. However, no agreement's been written up to this date. There's been no progress. We would ask that the order to demolish be affirmed based on the information presented to the board.
Motion to affirm the order.
Motion second. All those in favor? Ayes have it. 6419 Nebraska.
This was a property, Mr. President, that the board stayed the demolition until today's date. We just,
Kevin, is that the one where the property manager?
Yes,
was
that
here
you
and
saw the-
nobody drove by the property for 6 months and everybody was complaining?
that's correct. You remember,
Yeah, Mr. President, I mailed her an agreement to rehabilitate on December 22nd. I heard from the building department that it had been returned signed, but I haven't seen anything yet, so I would say let's move forward. If we get an agreement signed, then the board can approve it, we can stay the demolition.
all right, but for now, I believe it's actually on the bid list for this in a couple weeks, so we will obtain bids, but we can set it over for an April 16th status, but our intention is to move forward if there's no progress.
5727 Northcott.
We do have an agreement to rehabilitate now signed in the file. We'd ask for a status date to April 16th.
6711 Northcott.
The inspection has been done. The owner is trying to get title, and we would ask this to continue to April 16th.
722 165th.
On this property, there was I believe Attorney Bartholomew was here last time, and he was going to check with the bank. This is the old funeral parlor, kind of kitty corner from the BP on 165th and Calumet. It's in real bad shape. The banks have agreed to abandon, and so we would ask that the order, actually the order to demolish has already been entered. This is going to be bid out, and we'll be moving forward with it.
3331 176 Place.
Permits have been issued. There isn't a rehab agreement that was signed back in October. We asked to continue this for status on April 16th.
4835 Oak.
4835 Oak, the progress continues. The rough inspection just got passed through the building department, and we'd ask for a continuance to April 16th for status.
4609 Oak.
On this property, Mr. President, the inspection has been paid for, and we'd ask for a continuance to April 16th to see the progress as far as the inspection is concerned.
6804 Parish Avenue.
Happy to report that this can be removed from the demolition list due to the rehabilitation of this property.
4149 Sheffield Avenue.
Also, Mr. President, this property has passed all inspections. It's been rehabbed. It can be removed from the demolition list, I believe.
Good morning, Mr.
Hi,
President.
good morning.
Good morning.
Your name, sir?
Juan Gomez.
Mr. Gomez, I believe you've completed the progress on this
Yes.
property, and we're going to remove it from the list, so there's nothing more to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
1233 Sherman Street.
1233 Sherman, they actually are waiting on an additional inspection. I believe there was, one of the inspections failed, but Mr. Cooks reported that they're going to go back out there and work with the property owner. They continue to rehab the property. We'd ask for a continuance to April 16th to see the progress of the final inspection.
Very good. 64.
I'm sorry. Oak Street, yes. Oak Street, you paid for the inspection? Yes, and we continued to April 16th.
April 16th?
Yes, sir. April 16th. All right. Are you Mr. Becerra?
Yes.
All right. Sure. Okay, there you go, Mr. Becerra. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Why don't we recall those when we get down to it? All right.
6446 Tennessee.
Again, happy to report progress is being made on this property. We'd ask for a continuance to April 16th for status.
58 Walter Avenue.
Is Ms. Smith here? Yeah, she's here. All right. This, you may recall when Ms. Smith was here last time, there was another gentleman here that believed he may have owned the property, but in fact, he really didn't. I think that's been resolved at this point.
Yes, he owns the lot.
Yeah, he owned the vacant lot next door, whereas Ms. Smith, of course, owned her home. And I believe she has pulled the permit for the roof tear off, and things are progressing, so we're just going to kick it over to April unless...
Yeah, they did the roof last summer, finished the roof and everything. So I think next month I'll have the final payment on it, so I can get some estimates to get on the inside and start working on it, because we've been cleaning that out. But due to the weather, it's kind of cold, and we don't have no heat and gas or lights over there. But I'm getting it together.
I think progress is being made, so that's a good thing. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
7446 White Oak.
Yes, 7446 White Oak. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Sam Zabani for the bank.
And Mr. Zabani was here at the last hearing for Bank of America. It's gone to sheriff's sale, I understand?
It has.
We asked that the bank obtain an inspection and enter agreement to rehabilitate before today's date. Our records indicate they have not done that, so it would be our intention to move forward with demolition of the property. I believe it's set for open bid on 29th, unless Mr. Zabani has
That's
different
correct.
information.
It is set for bidding at the end of the month. I have advised my client that that is the case, that they need to seek the inspection with the city and do a rehabilitation agreement. There were some issues with their vendor, and that's why it's taken this long.
So I guess our position, Mr. President, would simply be that the city is going to continue to move forward. If Mr. Zabani, he's got all our information, he can contact us if there's a change in the bank's position, but at this point, we're just going to continue to move forward.
My only concern, Mr. Jessic, if, for example, they were able to make some progress on the property, can we, after it's been contracted for bidding, can we vacate that bidding or the actual demolition?
Well, the bid's actually already in progress. I mean, they're going to be, I think the bid packets are out. There's notice in the paper. They'll be opening the bids on the 29th here. If, in fact, the bank decides that it does want to rehab it and does want to go ahead forward with an inspection, we're happy to hold. I mean, between opening bids and awarding of bids and issuing of permits, it's usually about 4 to 6 weeks. And so if they're serious about wanting to rehab it, the sooner the better. All right? And that's all. So it's just basically just a status report, and we'll move forward.
Thank you.
I make the decision.
Thank you.
938 Wilcox.
The permits have been issued. There's been no inspection. So what we'd like to do is simply move this over to April 16th. Hi. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. There has been inspection.
There we go. It just happened on the 12th. So there was inspection on Monday. It looks like there's a green card here. Mr. Bell did the inspection on 938 Wilcox and passed the plumbing and final plumbing inspection was passed. So that's good news. We're going to continue it to April 16th. And I think, just to confirm, but I think it's going to probably come off the demo list at that time.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. And your name?
Davidson.
Mr. Davidson is here and present on this property. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. That's all we have, Mr. President.
You have
Thank
a recall?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, we do. Yeah, he's here every time. Mrs. Kuo is here. For what address, Ms. Kuo?
6317 Monroe and 6320 Harrison.
All right, 6320 Harrison, Ms. Kuo. We continued to April 16th, but we need faster progress on the rehab of that property. Otherwise, we're going to move forward with the demolition.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Understood. Okay.
6320. All right, and the other property address is 6317 Monroe.
Yes, sir.
6317 Monroe. There's been no progress on this property, and the agreement has expired. So we're going to move forward with the demolition what's your intention regarding that property?
Well, my contractor, he told me when he finished the Harrison, he's continued to do the Monroe.
Right, but
So
we
that's
can't,
what-
okay, and the city's position, Mr. President, would be we can't wait for a contractor to finish one property to do another because the other property just stays in disrepair. So if there's no progress being made, our position, the city's position, Ms. Kuo, is that we'd like to move forward with the demolition on Monroe.
Okay, I will contact my contract.
And then have the
As soon as
contractor
possible.
contact Mr. Cook, because otherwise we're going to move forward.
Okay, yes, I will do as soon as possible, yes.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Item H, notice of violation hearing on property located at 7609 Magnolia Avenue.
Morning. This property was inspected twice, actually, on April 30th due to police calls referring to a landlord in a basement apartment. We went there initially in April. Mr. Marchand was living in the basement with allegedly his niece or some other family member living upstairs. At that point, we did mark it uninhabitable, the basement apartment, and a letter was sent regarding the use of that. As time went on, police were there again, referred to the basement apartment still being there. Also, the person living upstairs called and basically told the story that she's not related to this gentleman. She was paying NIPSCO bill for him and so on. So we went back to the inspection, marked it uninhabitable again. There's no fire separation, ceiling height 6'8", no permits to convert. It was built as a 4-room frame residence. So it's currently vacant, but the apartment is still there. So the bathroom is in horrendous shape. That needs to come out, and the walls creating the bedroom down there need to come out as well. We ask the board affirm the removal of that apartment.
Sir, you got anything?
Are you going to remove that apartment?
The basement, you have to take the basement apartment out. Yeah? That's what he's telling me.
When I did the inspection, his son was there and everything was explained to both of them at the time, what needed to be done. And we're under the impression that they are going to remove that.
Make the motion to affirm your order.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Rent a registration hearing on property located at 7546 Bertram Avenue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
July 24, 2014, for water tenant, Martina, signed up for service on August 8, 2013. The current fire was owner occupied from 2005 to August 2013. The final bill for this year was sent to Wheatfield. So she owes for 2013 and 2014 rent registration.
The thing is this is my son's home. And he had to move to Wheatfield because of his job. In the meantime, my nephew says, Uncle Harold moved out. I didn't want to leave the house empty, but I didn't know that.
Is it your home or your son's home? Who owns it?
I do.
Okay, so it's not your son's home, it's your home.
It's in both of our names.
Oh, okay, okay,
But my son lives there,
okay.
and he had to move to Wheatfield. And we didn't want to leave the house empty, so it was rented to Cliffy and Martina.
Okay, so are you collecting rent from him? He pays you every month?
He was paying me $850 a month to cover the mortgage payment. The house is not paid for.
Okay.
And I have to pay my taxes and my insurance.
Okay.
So that's what the rent was used for. With that understanding, the thing is, with the understanding that Uncle Harold didn't know he was going to stay, how long he was going to stay there.
Okay.
So he had to come back to his home. They had to move out. But they were helping me paying the mortgage and I had no idea that I have to have certain permits to be able to rent it.
Okay.
Because I thought it was family, I had no knowledge.
Okay. Well, now you do.
Okay, so, thank you.
I'll make a motion to waive the late fee, but the unit has to be registered for 13 and 14.
You still have to, you know, even though the money that you're taking from your family member is used for the mortgage, it's considered rent. So this is a rental property. You have to register the property by April 15th every year, as long as that individual, that family member is in there and paying you money. So we're waiving the late fee, and you need to pay registration for 2013 and 2014.
After the meeting's over, the young lady here will get you the paperwork and you can pay it downstairs today. And you also have the option of paying 2015 because we're accepting that now too, so you can get 15 out of the way if you'd like to. If you can only do 2 years, but you'll have to do 2015 before April 15th of this year. Okay?
I'll second it.
Motion second, all those in favor? Ayes have it, thank you, ma'am. Rental registration hearing on property located at 6840 Bering Avenue.
September 5th, 2014 for water, and has bills in his name and they're being mailed to 19 Murray since '06. September 29th, 2014, sending to collections for 2014. November 21st for Sursik, referred to owner of the Board of Works for appeal. And the house is currently under for sale.
I bought a house on 918 Murray. I moved by the middle of the last year, and then I put it on sale since I bought that one. I was planning to sell the house and then move to the other one. Since the market went down, I couldn't sell it. So I told my nephew to stay there until the house gets sold, but nothing gets down because of the market or some reason. So I called the bank, and we set on something that is gonna be sold on short sale. I'm paying the bills and I'm doing everything. I pay the mortgage.
Your nephew's living there?
Yes.
Are you charging him rent?
No. Sometimes he pay me the bills, he send me with the bills or something, but that's what I'm giving up the house to the bank. I got the papers here, the last letter I got it from the bank.
Again, as always, it's not just a matter of collecting money for registration or even applying a late fee. It's so that police or fire need to go there, they know who they're dealing with and who's in the property, be it his nephew or whoever it may be. That information is shared with the police department, fire department, in case they are called there, they know who they're dealing with or who they should be dealing with.
Has anyone told them about the affidavit for family member?
Honestly, I don't believe it covers nephews, but he's not collecting rent, we put an affidavit that it's immediate family, at least we have the information that we need.
Chris? Chris?
I'm sorry?
The gentleman owns the house on Bering, and the nephew's living there not paying him rent.
Yeah, that's still a family member affidavit. I mean, I think you guys can always go over it. As long as it's just somebody who's not paying rent, they're willing to swear to it.
Lawyer, will you explain that to him?
There's a form to fill out, right,
Uh-huh.
Kelly? And so, have you filled out the form yet?
No.
Okay. Do
For
you-
the rent, I just filed a form to appeal for a hearing.
I understand. So there's an affidavit that you can get through the building, through the inspections department, that you fill out that says, I have a family member that lives there, this is her name or his name, this is his address, this is her phone number, so that if we have to verify that with that person, we can, and you're
Okay.
basically swearing that they're not paying you rent.
No, that's,
Okay,
we have
so-
an agreement when the seller home
I understand.
has to go out. for
Gotcha.
everything.
So you need to fill out that affidavit so we have it on record, and that way,
Every year?
every year, yeah, annually.
Okay.
So by April 15th every year, you have to fill out the affidavit. The forms are available downstairs, I believe. Kelly, the forms are available downstairs, right? Yeah, so
Who should I ask for it?
It's on the ground floor.
that's for
You go
Amanda.
Towards Highland Street, there you'll see bank of windows on the left-hand side.
By the inspection?
Exactly.
I gotta ask them by the waiver?
Tell them you need to know.
I'm gonna write it down what you need.
Okay.
All right?
I know the house will be gone, it's gonna be on short sale very soon.
Make a motion to bring
Motion,
this action.
second. All those in favor? Ayes have it. Item K, rental registration hearing on property located at 3343 176th Street.
But I got a bill from the collection department.
Morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Board members. My name is Wilfredo Ramirez. I'm the son of and here on behalf of Antonio Ramirez. About a year ago, she became suddenly ill. Sorry to say that she passed away just past December 31st. Just put her to rest last week. We had to move her out of the residence. She wasn't able to care for herself. We relocated her. Neighbor offered to rent a house, and so that's what we did to offset some of her expenses. Totally unaware of the rental registration. So I just asked.
Do you plan on keeping the place and renting it?
Too many irons in the fire now. I will keep it for another year.
Okay.
You will have to April 15th
Yep,
to
yep,
register again.
yep, I'll take care of the paperwork.
They're gonna have you registered for 14.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered at the $80.
Second. Motion, second, all in favor?
Yep.
Ayes
I
have
need
it.
your insurance information.
Yep, that I don't have it.
She'll mail you the paperwork in about 30 days. I'll get that from the insurance. You can call your, they just need possible.
Oh, I can get that. I just hadn't went through it. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Rental registration hearing on property located at 2838 Kenwood Street.
December 9, 2010, Board of Works decision appeal granted and the late fee waived. Owner states that the tenant has only lived there since July and the property was purchased in January. 2015 affidavit on file that was vacant. September 2014 not registered, reported to Secretary for Ms. Ursa. December 3, 2014 for Tammy Water, Marcus Arnold, owner, 32610 current, bills mailed to service, usage is consistent from 47,000 gallons. Owner tried to come to register the property, and they give them an appeal form, and a copy of the lease is on file. Those for 2014.
Also, I don't know what the question is.
You didn't register the unit for 14.
Right, because, yeah, I took it off the market, put it for sale. Had a customer came in, or a buyer interested in purchasing the property. We made a verbal agreement, a meeting of the minds. They were there for a few months. They were in the process of getting their loan together. It didn't work out. They said, you have to leave. They ended up leaving. So I've had the property since 2009. So I know the law. I'm not trying to shuck anything. So then I came in and said, well, I put it back on the rental market. Somebody applied, they wrote a contract. I came in 3 days later, applied for the, I had the utilities always in my name. And they said, well, you have to get and I came to get a permit. Obviously, the city didn't call me and say, hey, we have a problem with your not getting a permit. I came in because that's, I'm abiding by the law.
Right.
That's what I do. And so they said, well, I have to go to court for, get a permit. I said, okay. So
we're talking about 2014 rental registration permit.
Did not register in 2014.
When did you rent it in 14?
Pardon?
What month did you rent the property in?
I didn't rent it in 14. I came in, I got the
So the whole year of 14, you had never had anybody living there?
no, I had a family that approached me to purchase the property. They moved in. They were in the process of getting their loan together. And we weren't there that long, and they weren't taking care of the property. They kept giving me, I've got to clear this up. I said, look, you can't stay here. Either you're going to purchase the property or we enter into a rental agreement. Well, they didn't work out, so I had to,
So there was no rental agreement, and they never...
Right, they left, and so now I have a rental agreement.
This is the same situation happened in 2010 when a Board of Works decision was granted and late fee waived. Owner states that the tenant only lived there since July and the property was purchased in January. Basically the same situation. He had someone there in July, so he didn't register. He obviously knew that he had to register because he was there in 2010 and got the appeal.
Well, but
Regardless of how long they were there,
obviously
they were there.
he's trying to sell the house, but he didn't rent the house.
He did rent the house.
He didn't rent the house.
He didn't sell the house. People were in there were paying rent while they were trying to purchase the property.
Were they paying rent while they were, waiting to purchase the property?
Yeah, they were paying money towards the down payment, which would have been on the, takeoff from the original amount of the purchase.
So it was gonna be a contract purchase.
It was a meeting of mine,
Did you rent the property towards the end of 14 at all?
No. Well, I just signed in 14 a new.
So somebody was living there in 14 December?
No, here's a new lease. They moved in, and then 3 days later, I came in for the permit. Yeah, sure. Here's the 3rd. 26th, I signed a contract for it. Oh, that's when I came in, put the property for sale. They took it off. It's 415. Right, then here's the,
Where's the lease?
right here's the lease for the new, right here. Go to 16 last year, and then I came in 3 days later to get the permit.
Yeah, so you were registered for 14.
Yeah, because it wasn't a rental, I didn't, you know,
As board wishes.
whatever, I mean, whatever you want to do, it's fine. I mean, I legit, you know, obviously I,
Make a motion to waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered at $80 for 14 days. And then you have until April 15th of this year to register it for 50.
sure.
Motion?
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Okay, no wait in the hallway for the lady? Okay, thank
You can
you.
wait in here.
Pardon?
You can wait wherever you can wait
Okay.
in here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Correspondence received requesting rental registration hearing.
Not April 16th, I can tell you that. April 23rd? Yeah. April 23rd.
April 23rd. Correspondence received from property owners unable to attend scheduled rental registration hearing set for January 8th, requesting another hearing be set.
They tell us when they would like it?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
What is today's date, 16th? 30th?
29.
I'm sorry, the 29th.
Is that a motion? Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item O, correspondence received from Director of City Planning requesting approval of the Oxbow Landing Second Edition.
I've already reviewed it and checked off the items, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve it.
Motion, second, all those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item P, amusement device listing submitted for approval.
A motion that we approve the.
Motion, second, all those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item Q, notice to owners of affected property received from Turinga Engineering.
We own property adjacent to it, so we don't need any action, it's just for the record.
I'd like to acknowledge Councilwoman Vines is with us this morning. Good morning, Councilwoman. Item 6, matters from board members. None? Item 7, matters from other department heads or the representatives. Item 8, new business. Item 9, old business. Item 9A, status of property located at 5502 Ellis Avenue. Steve Skermart, status, came in open to the public 9/25/14.
We're talking about 5502 Alice, right? I mean, he's not here. Does the building department knows he's made any progress? That was, yeah, that's the house on Alice. Right. He was sent over so he could go talk to the building department because, remember he came in here and he had a contractor and they were gonna check to see if his contractor was licensed. And I never heard back from anybody whether or not his contractor was licensed. So I would say continue it generally and he needs to come back to the board. Maybe the 29th with building department.
Motion, second, all those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item 10, the meeting is now open to the public. Anyone from the public wish to address the board? Ma'am?
Hello, my name's Jody Tillman, and this is my son Jesse Tillman. And we have a business called Jody's Italian Ice Factory at 7322 Calumet Avenue. And we would like to request or see if it could be visited in any way, changing a couple of ordinances that we feel affect our business. Right now, there's an ordinance apparently that you can't have a sign above the roof line of your building. And we wanted to know if there's any good reason why that is.
Unless they don't fall on people on the sidewalk, but
Yeah.
she would need to go talk to Don Novak about getting a variance, because that's a zoning ordinance, that's not an ordinance like, speeding on County Med Avenue.
Okay.
That's a zoning ordinance, she needs to go talk to Don Novak, he's down in the basement.
So that is not a public works issue, actually?
No.
Okay.
It's not, but you're in the right place to at least find out where you're supposed to go.
Oh, okay.
Put a sign on the roof?
Well, to either put a sign on the roof or even a pole sign that goes above, like when you're driving down Calumet Avenue and you see Dunkin' Donuts has a sign that you can see from either side to, give more visibility, or Dairy Bell has something on their roof.
For that. Talk to Don Novak downstairs. He should be down there. He should be able to catch him today.
Okay, because we had talked to him before and he said there's an ordinance against it, so we're trying to find out where do we go to ask that an ordinance be changed, or how do you petition that an ordinance get changed? The other thing was that there is a fence behind our building, which was not there when previous people were there. And we would like to be able to take that fence down, because when people come in, it's kind of dangerous getting back out on Calumet Avenue. We're right next to Dunkin' Donuts and our entrances are like right.
Do you own the building?
No, actually the owner is Jesse Hugavine.
Whose property is the fence on?
It's Jesse Hugavine's property. He has no problem with it coming down, but he said the city told him to put it up when it was a tobacco shop. And now it's an Italian ice.
Isolated from the residences across the alley for headlights and stuff. And I don't know, that's another thing that I think Don would be the one to talk to.
Yeah, surely you can talk to Don and talk about getting a variance on the next PCA meeting.
Okay.
Don is zoning administrator, and he can, help give you the paperwork and file for the variance.
Okay.
I think one of the things, though, my dad wanted us to come was that Don wasn't really clear on all of those, on all these issues. He kind of he didn't know, answers to tell us.
Or he basically just said, you just can't do this.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, so.
Well, he can't do it on his own.
Yeah.
But he should be able to steer you to the BZA so that you can make a presentation as to why this is a hardship and then what you'd like to change. I think the fence might be difficult because that's to protect those residents across the alley.
Or even just a partial opening where,
Maybe a
in an
partial opening.
emergency, some people could, get out the back. Because right now, sometimes there's issues with both Dunkin' Donuts people and our people turning out at the same time, because the driveways are side by
Dunkin'
side.
Donuts have access to the alley?
No, they don't.
They don't, but they have the drive-through. The issue, it seems like we're pretty much the only business that's located on the 7300 block that has a fence, and they said.
Other than
Jesse
Dunkin'
Hugavine
Donuts.
was explaining to him that when it was a tobacco shop, they wanted to restrict those under 18 from being able to, to get in there. But now that it's a food place, even when it was a pizza place prior to that, there was no fence. And then now we have a fence, so what happens is it's tough to turn in there because the left turning lane on, that section of 41 is right there, so it's either a tough
The
turn.
fence is not by the alley, the fence is between your property
Yeah.
and adjacent property?
Yes, in between the property.
No, it's behind the building.
Yeah, behind the building.
It protects our property from the alley.
So there's traffic flow coming from the Mud Hut, the barber shop, and all these businesses, and the fitness, nutrition shop, and they
In the
miss
alley.
us, and people miss us going down Calumet. They figure, hey, we could turn right and go back in, like how they can go through China Doll's parking lot and things like that, go through the alley. But then by that time, if they miss us once and they miss us in the fence in the back, they're like, screw it, forget it. So we figure we're missing multiple customers a day, and if you add that up, if even just missing a couple customers multiplied by a week since the summertime, that's, that could turn into a significant amount, so.
But I also see it as a safety issue, because even when I leave our property,
Yeah.
when you leave the property, I'll demonstrate. Here's the Dunkin' Donuts where they exit. Here's ours, and all that's in between it is a little strip. The people from Dunkin' Donuts are so used to being able to just turn out right. They don't look and see. If somebody's at our end of our driveway, ready to turn out to the right, there before them, they'll still try to turn real fast. You have to watch and just wait. People on our property have to just wait for the Dunkin' Donuts customers, because they don't
Like Ms. Cantor said, you need to talk to Mr. Novak and Stanson.
Definitely talk to,
And I highly recommend you don't turn left on your parking lot because we've had accidents there for that.
Yeah. So for us, we're thinking if somebody could turn in the front and exit from the back, that would be,
Calumet Avenue is a state highway,
yeah.
and
Janet, I believe Janet tried to get no left turns out of Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay, so talk to Don about getting variances.
Don, and I've also talked to
Easy
Helen
A?
Carver, who's the Director of Economic Development. She's located on the third floor,
Okay,
and she may be able to provide you some direction with processing the paperwork for the variance for the sign.
okay. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wish to address the board?
Motion adjourned.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.